And, she's thrilled about being on live here. Welcome to Top Rope Spoilers. This is On the Ring Apron. I'm Steve.
I'm Kia.
I'm Alyssa.
And hey, I'm actually pointing the right way, so go me. But this is our initial debut of Top Rope Spoilers for TikTok Live. We're trying the new studio features and everything else. It's definitely a task to say the least, but I'm excited about the new prospect of all this.
Yeah, we keep evolving.
Yeah, keep getting better. Like Seth. Hey, she's Seth. She has the shirt. But we are here to, this is our first of two this week. We are going to have one tonight that we're about to do here in a couple minutes, and then one for tomorrow for NXT Battleground, both taking place this weekend. So, if y'all are excited, let's hop to it.
Let's get it.
Alrighty. First thing we want to do, for those of you who have never joined us for one of our shows, first of all, you'll enjoy our new backdrop, a lot comfier than standing in front of a whiteboard and a very hot projector the entire time.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean I got to watch my shirt a little here, make sure it's nice and tucked in. I'm not showing everybody my muffin top here, but it is what it is. But we're going to try to see if we can get this here, so forgive me if I don't mess this up a couple of times, but I'm going to give you the best I can here. For those of you who have joined us for shows, of course, we do keep track of it. Our YouTube community channel page does have the ability for you to be able to cast your votes. That's been live now for a little while, so if you have an opportunity to go on there, make sure you follow us there and then cast your vote in terms of how you think the matches are going to go this weekend. We're going to give you our previews and inevitably our predictions as well. So let me go ahead and drop this off here, and first go ahead and take us off camera here for just a quick second. Well, I'm supposed to. There it goes. And show you the scoreboard of where we're at so far. Right now, thanks to the perfect 7 at our last event, Backlash out in San Juan, and boy, was that something else. Kia right now has the advantage, her first perfect score, and she now has a lead at 15. Alyssa's sitting at 13, holding second place. She is the defending champion, hence the little championship underneath your name there. You know, I thought that was kind of a cute little add-in. And inevitably, we've got myself and you, the OTRAs, our fan base, with your votes, sitting at 12 each. So, you know, we're still very early. And with 2 premium live events this weekend, there's plenty of time to be able to jump back into it and try to get the advantage here. But I'd like to note that each of the 3 years we've played up to this point, the person who was leading as of the Royal Rumble did not ultimately win the year. So this means nothing at the moment. Except that little asterisk next to Kia's name. I'm sure she's quite proud of that.
I'm thrilled.
Get us back on camera here. And let's go ahead and move into our first match at Night of Champions, and it is for the Smackdown Women's Championship. This is one kind of just thrown in place, but ultimately ends up panning itself out, as it will be Mommy, Rhea Ripley, defending her Smackdown Women's Championship against Natalya. Now,
to me, I don't feel like this has a storyline. I feel like it was thrown together, and in my opinion, I don't feel like that's fair to Rhea. Also, I feel like Natalya, every time a champion has a title, she feels like she's entitled to get the first go at them.
And I'd say she usually loses, but we saw what happened with Naomi 6 years ago. So
Let's not even bring that up.
Yeah, it is what it is. But, you know, I mean, Natalya essentially saying, like, look, you know, you have one of the best talents in the entire business, but at the same time, you're disrespecting every person you potentially could go up against. And, you know, Natalya feels like, you know, it's her place as the veteran of the women's locker room to put Mommy back in her place. But, frankly, no one puts Mommy in her place right now.
Maybe Dawn. No, that wouldn't even work.
I was going to say, that held for about 2 seconds.
No.
Melissa?
I mean, this one doesn't really feel, I mean, like y'all said, this one really doesn't feel like it had much behind it. I don't really think there's a real threat there. I think they'll put on a good match, but it's Mommy. Like, come on.
Right, and don't get me wrong. I don't think anyone's questioning Natalya's abilities. You know, she's a first ballot Hall of Famer. She's absolutely in the moment that she decides to hang up her boots. But this feels similar to her story with Charlotte. You know, going into Mania, it's almost like it was just thrown in there because it's like, oh, it's Night of Champions. She needs a match. Yeah. So, you know, with other Judgment Day members, I guess, going to be there. You know, although I guess granted they don't have a match either.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
But it doesn't feel like there's much behind this one other than oh, I need an opponent. Now, back to my story with Dom.
At this point,
It's just,
terrible.
and I don't want it to get to the point where ultimately, Rhea's title reign, when she is probably, with the exception of Bianca Belair, and that's even arguable, the most dominant woman that our roster has seen in the last decade, and yet her title reign almost seems tame right now because of the fact that she's just not actively going out and defending it.
Here's the thing: when she did not have this title, like when Charlotte was holding it, it was, I got to get back to the title belongs to me, so forth and so on.
Right.
I feel like they're doing her a disservice when they just put people up against her that's not, I mean, I'm not saying Natalya's not, like, great, excellent, or whatever, but you have to think about Rhea has literally worked for the last 2 years after being slighted by Charlotte to get this title back, and now you're just putting people up against her that, to me, makes no sense, and there is no story to be had.
Right,
So,
and it seems like, again, I get the whole concept of Night of Champions. Every champion is supposed to be there, and I guess with Theory being the only exception, all the champions are going to be there. But it just, this gives off the vibe of we needed Rhea to go up against somebody. So why not Natalya? I mean, Natalya has been a frequent at Saudi Arabian events before. She was part of that first match where her and Lacey Evans ended up having a great match against each other, with the first, women's match there in some time. And now this is the first of 3 championship matches. And, if we can't discuss necessarily a storyline, we've got about a minute or so here before we make our picks. Discussing the significance of, women's matches in Saudi Arabia,
Absolutely.
talking about how we've gone from just Natalya and Lacey Evans years ago having to be dressed all the way up to the top of their neck in turtlenecks and clothes and everything else. And while that's still somewhat the case, you're now getting multiple women's matches, multiple championship matches on the card every single time you go out there. The dynamic is changing.
It's a good thing, though. I feel like they are evolving with the times, like they're evolving with WWE, but also knowing that you only get this, like, one PLE, every 6 months, almost like every year.
Give or take.
You wanna do right by your people who enjoy these wrestlers, these competitors, these superstars, but you also want to do right by the wrestlers as well.
Correct.
So,
and I think you've got 2 people in there that are very popular. Natalya, obviously, very popular usually where she goes. Take your personal feelings of her wrestling ability and where she, her heart background and everything else, and, take it for what it's worth. But the fact is, you put her name on a poster, you put her name on a marquee card, people know who she is. So, and then Rhea Ripley's story speaks for itself. She's getting that international buzz as well, coming from Australia and that area, and representing, her championship and where she's coming from, and also doing so not just beating up on women, but also being willing to go nose to nose with the big men of the business as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's a China move.
Like,
may she rest in peace.
I know, and it's the closest thing we've had. They tried with Nia Jax, and it didn't work. But I think Rhea has all the capability of putting things in. Now that we go under a minute, we do make our official picks. Kia, you've got the lead right now, so that means you open things up, but I don't think this one's going to take long.
No, I feel like Rhea's going to retain. She's going to keep her title, and that is what it is. It's going to be Rhea retains. There's no other way around it.
Second is you.
I have to firmly agree. I think we'll put on a wonderful match. You'll definitely see how many moves of doom?
2 if it's Natalya. the 2 moves. It's a discus clothesline and the sharpshooter.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
We'll definitely see the 2 moves of doom, but I really do feel like Mommy's going to retain it.
I don't see much threat here either. This is, again, it just felt like this one was thrown together.
Yeah.
So I don't see even this really being one where even a disqualification is going to come into play. I do feel like it's going to be Rhea's going to retain here.
Oh, she is. Most definitely. I like it.
So, hey, it works for me. So we'll do this here. Now I got to figure out how all this stuff works here and go from there. So reset the clock. And a little bit of fun here in terms of trying to get everything set up the way we need to be. So my apologies as I try to, get better at this as we go along.
Well, while you're doing that, I wanted to go ahead and say, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they dress.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
women. I always look forward to these events when it comes to, like, how they'll dress, their attire, like, their makeup and stuff, because y'all have said they've come from having to wear full head to toe, can't come down the ramp, to now being able to go out
Several,
there. You know?
Right. So, and you saw how, folks like Sasha and Bianca did a wonderful job of being able to, make it kind of glittery, make it fun and
Exactly.
everything else. So we'll see how they pan it out, especially with someone like Mommy, who's going to have that more of a kind of a
Dark
goth
aura.
looking kind of look as well, how that's going to come out. But as you probably saw, I gave a little preview to it, but our next one is for the Intercontinental Championship. Excuse me, a hiccup there. But that will be the undefeated Gunther defending his Intercontinental Championship against the winner of the Battle Royal from a couple of weeks ago, Mustafa Ali. Ali, of course, getting an opportunity to defend. Granted, he's from Chicago, but we all know of his lineage, and certainly I think the location played a role in him getting this particular match. But using his power of positivity, maybe he's been hanging out with the New Day a little bit. But, he also was honest in his interview on Raw a couple of days ago that he feels like, him being positive has led him to what right now he feels is the biggest match of his career, and no one's giving him a chance to win this match, and reasonably so. Gunther, has taken on and beaten the best up to this point. So he
the kitchen sink.
He beat up Cody for 15 minutes in the Royal Rumble.
Like,
So, and Gunther has earned every accolade that he has. So no one really is giving Ali much of a chance in this match, and yet, we've seen shockers happen, 1, 2, 3 Kid and others throughout history. You have to, he has a belief in himself that he thinks he can get it done, The question is, do we?
I feel like I can literally hear the chops from this winner right now.
Woo!
So
you might do like a triple flip, man. He'll be over there. Talking about the next meme. Oh yeah, TikTok. Let's make it happen. He'll just keep
Maybe
on
you do
flying.
He flips, and then, the meme starts over again where he just chops him again.
We can turn him into the bowling ball for the week.
Oh, gracious.
Yeah, there you go. We'll just right on down.
I mean, it's nothing against Mustafa. Because I always pronounce his name correctly. I'm sorry for the disrespect. It's nothing against him. He has his skill set, and he's got ability and agility and everything that you want in a wrestler. He's got the look. I feel like, like you said, the reason for the match is probably the background and where they're going and where they're headed. But I feel like, honestly, I could hear the chops. I could hear the chops. I could see. I feel like Gunther is the Brock Lesnar, and Mustafa is like the Cody. No offense. We all know I love me some Cody, but this is how I feel for this match. I don't see it going the way of Mustafa.
And just, because it's tough for me to try to, give Ali a real opportunity here, because it doesn't seem realistic that he wins this match, that he of all the people is going to be the one that's going to stop Gunther's seemingly unstoppable run. Gunther's losing the championship when it's time for him to go for the big gold, when it's time for him to go for the World Heavyweight title, whether it's Seth or AJ that ultimately wins it, it's that is Gunther's next line. But the reality is says that he is proud to defend the lineage of the Intercontinental Championship, and he always wants to defend it if it's within his power, within only one-on-one contest, to prove that he is the best available person. But something I've kind of noticed, and WrestleMania kind of helped to give a flair to this, and I want to get both of your thoughts on this. It seems like the Intercontinental title is taking on more of an international type of feel, because if you look at the last several people to compete for the Intercontinental Championship, they're not Americans.
Yeah.
You had Drew and Sheamus at WrestleMania. You've got Ali now. It seems like you're starting a run where they're using the Intercontinental Championship not just as a very premier title, something it wasn't a couple of years ago, but at the same time, you're also allowing an opportunity for a chance for your international superstars to really get a chance to shine with this.
Facts.
The one thing I will say is I think he's definitely going to have to play to his strengths if he's going to stand a chance, like his speed, him being a high flyer, all his energy. But I feel like it's really going to be similar to something like trying to catch like a mouse or something.
Yeah.
Like you can only get away for so long, and once you get got, you're
done.
You getting chopped into next week, and we'll see you then when we get there. Good luck.
And that's exactly
And I will
it.
make the meme. Don't worry, y'all. When he starts flipping and he gets chopped, we're going to the bowling alley because, no, man.
And you know, we have seen something similar to this. Saudi Arabian event a couple of years ago, you had Ricochet getting a championship match against Brock Lesnar at the time, and they spent, you know, a week and a half hyping up Ricochet, and I think the match lasted, like 95 seconds.
It did.
You know, he didn't even crack
lucky.
100. I mean, it was a squash, and that's exactly the kind of feel this feels like. I mean, you can't sit here and say his odds are zero. I mean, as Jerry Lawler would always say, you're 3 seconds away from being champion. You just need 3 good seconds. This one just doesn't get that vibe. But either way, under a minute. Let's go ahead and at least get it officially on the books. Alyssa, you're up first on this one.
We're just going to go ahead and make this plan be simple. Nothing against you, Mustafa, but we're going Gunther.
Yeah, it's Gunther. I honestly, I think the more pressing question would be the over/under being like 3 minutes. I think that's more of a question mark than this one. But Gunther retains.
I felt like y'all technically heard my answer through my explanation, so there's no need for me to give the answer.
But we'll give it anyway.
Gunther.
There we go. Just so we have it official. I hate for you because you got to think you're running on a perfect streak right now. You want to see how far can you get this thing to go. And this one feels like a gimme.
That was a gimme.
But the question is, where will it fall on the card? Is this going to open? Is this going to close? You know, be curious to see how that pans out. But let's move on here. So I'll reset our fun little clock here again. Our first match coming up here, that is a not championship match. So this one will provide a little bit different perspective. But it's our first one that doesn't have a championship on the line, but definitely some feelings on the line for this one, to say the least, as we're going to find out who the it person is in the women's division, as the WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus will battle the man, Becky Lynch.
As I've said many times before, over at least the last year, you have to understand my past keeps meeting my future, or my past is meeting my present. Because you have to understand, when I started watching, there was like 5 men and like maybe a handful of women I started watching it for, and Trish and Lita were the first, and then think we're something cool, and now we're in my present, and you have to think I watch for literally all the females now. It's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's like literally every female has a story, every female has a background, but you have to understand this one. This for me feels really personal. Like, I can tell you myself, and I think Alyssa, we saw it coming. I believe you saw it, Steve, coming, where I don't know what it is.
There was going to be a turn of some kind. We just didn't know if it was going to be Trish or Lita.
I didn't see it being Lita because Lita and Becky are too close. I saw it because you have to think Lita and Becky were holding the titles at the time, and they were great, and they were doing photo shoots, and they were friends, and they were hanging out like in and out of the ring from what I was hearing. And it just seemed like Trish came in out of nowhere. And I mean, I get her and Lita are best friends, but it was, you never saw her holding the title. You never saw her really being hyped. You always saw Lita and Becky come out together. You kind of saw Trish come out by herself. I feel like Trish kind of felt like, oh, well, that's my best friend. That's always been my best friend, and now she's like buddy with Becky right now. I don't like it, so I'm having to take her out. Now, the way she did it was low down and shifty, but I'm going to leave it at that. Now, Becky, she's again, straight fire. She's got heart, she's got spunk, and she's not afraid to show it. Let's see, what, last Monday? Or this past Monday? Yesterday, excuse me? Wait.
The day before.
Yeah, the day before. I feel like Becky said all she needed to say. And I felt like Trish technically felt what she had to say and wasn't too thrilled about it. But
I'm a big fan of the glasses she wore. Where do I get those?
Whichever WWE show. Or Sheen.
Or
Sheen sells everything.
Or Hot Topic.
There you go. Hashtag shameless shout out. But, I mean, it is, you sit here and use the term shifty, and you use it shady, shifty, whatever you want to use. It's not like Becky is immune to, any of these things either. She's been through her fair share of, times where she's decided she's not taking the high road anymore. You saw her wars with Bayley and with Bianca Belair and others. So, you want the opportunity to be able to, present yourself in the best light possible. But this, I think, is not necessarily just about respect. I think it's more about establishing exactly who is the go-to woman? Who needs to be the person that's talked about as the GOAT potentially? And for a long time, I think the argument was only Trish or Lita. Now, you've got 6 or 7 other women that you now can put as part of that list, present or just recently retired / left, whatever. And so now you've got to consider this being that dream match that no one else ever had, and I'm just going to be the person to start off saying it. I don't think it's going to be the first. I can see this potentially being as much as a trifecta.
I like the idea of a trifecta. It's just who's going to take the first one. I like that Trish is coming in and kind of like, because I feel like this is playing as like a double type thing, like one for storyline, but 2 also being like another like voice of like leadership for the locker room.
Absolutely.
Taking it, and I like the benefits that brings, like all her experience. Like I remember one thing that you mentioned, like when when Becky's music started playing, when she was in the ring talking about she's missing this, that, and the third, and she turned around and knew Becky was going to be standing all right.
She's been doing this long enough to know that, she's...
All right, I'm about to get
she's behind me. Like she didn't sit here and act surprised when all of a sudden magically she was there.
But,
But I like that. I like that viewpoint of leadership because you sit here and talk about it. There are people that are in the locker room right now that were either babies, even a couple that weren't even alive when Trish was going through her heyday. I mean, from their status, she is legend, and that's the only word you put by her name because it's the only one you need to put by her name.
Yeah, and I like that she's coming in to claim her respect. Period.
The fact that she's also doing it full time. She's out there every week.
I like it.
This is not just, hey, I'm just going to show up, work a night and then work a match and then that's it. So, I appreciate the fact that Trish and then Lita, when she was here as well, were willing to show up and willing to do this for as long as was necessary to make it work out. Final thoughts?
I want Lita to have a speedy recovery. I hope she's back soon. And that's pretty much it. I'm excited for this match.
I am too.
I feel like I don't know who I'm going to pick because you have to think I started watching for Trish, but now I'm literally watching for Trish, but also looking at the fact that Becky's been around and she's done it. And you have to think Trish was the first women's GOAT of wrestling, and now you have Becky, who has been the GOAT as well. So who's going to take the cake first?
Exactly. So now having to very quickly jump on our picks here. I go first on this one. To me, it's tough because if it's going to be ultimately a three match set, they're going to split the first 2. The question is who's going to take the first one, second one. I'm going to go with Trish on the first one. I think that you don't take the match unless you've got a plan in mind. I'm still the person I think that Lita's in on it. I still think Lita was behind all of this, and I think that Lita and Trish are ultimately on the same side. So I'm gonna take Trish in the first one.
I'm going to have to say the same thing. You have to think she's been here. I'm not saying that Becky hasn't, but she's been here. She's talked a lot of smack. When women of the past,
not the smack,
when they've been talking smack, they usually handle business. So it's not really smack talk if you've got the game to back it up. And I feel like Trish is going to take it and she's going to run with it. And I feel like she's going to, if it's a trifecta, she's going to win the first bout.
I also like Trish to take it too.
See, here I was thinking for sure one of you was going to take Becky. So
I was thinking about it, and it just makes more sense for Trish to take the first one because the whole significance behind her first contract signing and all that. So
first match in Saudi Arabia for Trish.
So I feel like all the history just falls her way for this one, and then she's gonna get some nice recovery from the second.
I can't wait to see what they come out in. You have to think the culture has them covering up, so I want to see what they both come out in, honestly.
And it's kind of ironic that you bring that up, considering the match that's coming up next, and that is our third of the 3 women's matches that are on the card. This one is for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't know if I adjusted that photo yet or not. I guess we're going to find out here in a second. There we go. Hey, it worked out. But this is for the Raw Women's Championship, and that is a WrestleMania rematch between the current Raw Women's Champion, the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion in our era, Bianca Belair, battling once again against the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Now, Asuka tried to play fair the first time around going into Mania, only trying to take the advantages when she felt the moments were prudent for her to do so. She hasn't pulled any punches this time. At this point, it's very clear that she's gunning to win the title by any means necessary. Bianca, of course, on this record-breaking run, but also, she's surpassed the record at this point. So now at this point, you wonder now how much longer are they going to let this go? It's also interesting, and we've mentioned it before, that both of the women's championships right now are being defended on the other brands. The Raw Women's Champion between two SmackDown competitors, just like Rhea and Natalya are both on Raw, but yet are competing for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So not sure when that potentially flips over. It's bothering some people on social media, apparently. Not me so much, but, go figure. Alyssa, we'll let you start things off with this one. But essentially, we've seen the record run Bianca's had, but honestly, I think Asuka's the person that's come the closest.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I like this more aggressive Asuka, the one who's coming out here, I'll spit in your face. I'm sitting over here tweaking my recipe. Please play with me. But, yeah. But, I love the EST. And the EST is the EST. What do you mean? She's the best, the fastest, strongest, hilarious in some circumstances, in some circles. We're going to mind our business. But no. But no. Asuka has really been the person who, anytime they have wrestled, anytime they go to it, I am actually on the edge of my seat. Any other time, any other competitor, I don't care who it was, I've been like, it's Bianca. Come on.
You felt like Bayley right after SummerSlam was like the only other one where it really felt like there was a threat to her title reign. And even then, once you saw the direction the Damage Control was going to go, it never really felt like it by the time you got to that third run.
I was about to say, I've never really seen Bayley, so I never really felt the threat there either. So I was just like...
And just for the record, I just want to stay here. Look at the Bianca render. I'm pointing, but I can only point so far, but that is a wonderful render of her. Asuka's is nice too, but they went above and beyond with Bianca's on this one. They really did a good job. She has the most wonderful render, so, I'm just gushing here a little bit. Excuse me. Kia, we want to give you an opportunity here, but, we've seen, the record-breaking run. Of course, both of you, as African-American women, have an extra level of pride that, the average viewer outside of that community can't have. So, we want to, give your thoughts as to what Bianca is bringing to not just the WWE Universe, but just from the world as a whole by this record-breaking title reign.
For me, I feel like who better to do it? Like, she literally, if you go back a couple of weeks and you were looking at Raw, she kind of started telling her backstory for how she got here, how she wasn't confident, how she didn't feel like, this was meant for her, how she literally had to perfect the recipe for who she is for the EST, and the fact that she is the fastest and the strongest and the smartest and so forth and so on. Her pretty much her slogan, her campaign for herself, I feel like, why not? Like, on top of it, look good doing it. So for me, I feel like, go girl, you got this. I'm all for it. I was proud of her, and I'm not going to sit here and say it. I was proud of her when her and Sasha went up against each other head to head. That was a moment for me as a black female. So this right here and her reign, it's all great. It's better for it. Now, downside, I can tell you between myself and I think everybody else, we saw the whole handshake thing. I was sitting here screaming at the TV like you could hear me, saying no to the whole handshake. Like, she did not learn.
Did she not learn from Becky?
She didn't learn from Becky. That's what I was sitting here thinking, too. And then the thing was, Becky and Becky took your title. Asuka literally spit in your face. That is a big no-no in many circles.
Her hometown, too.
Right. And her celebration, too.
Alyssa, same question.
It's always good to see somebody, like, being able to just go in and change, like, records, but also, like, how people are seen, bringing that good, like, I love the fact that she's such a good role model, not only for, like, adults, but, like, kids as well, we don't have to work on hats, but
But that's not her fault. Let's
bombastic side eye.
That's not her fault, though.
I know, but to not bring up our trip. But yeah, we just to bring in more representation.
They're referring to the shop hat that's got the very poorly put on ponytail.
Child, that ponytail like is struggling. We don't want our business though. On to the big show.
Kia's up first on this one.
You have to think. My pick again is going to be the EST herself. I feel like she can go further. I feel like honestly, for me, I feel like between her and Rhea, they're gonna have like Roman Reigns type reigns. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm picking Bianca to win, and you know, it is what it is. And she's never steered me wrong.
Not yet. 400 plus.
Come on.
Listen. She wants to swing. You can tell.
So bad, I really do. Because it's like she's already passed the record. So why would they sit there and keep pushing it, you know? But then again, it's Bianca, so I'm going Bianca. Bump it. She ain't left me wrong yet. And if you start out, girl, it's okay. It's okay. Okay?
To me, I see Bianca's title loss coming by cash in. I don't see it happening. I think she's gonna have to. Maybe it's a situation where maybe Asuka gets one more shot, and then maybe at the end she gets shot in the eye, and it results in a cash in.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking she's got about another month, and then I think London's gonna hit her, and I think that's where it ends. And per rumors, potentially starts maybe a heel turn. Which we haven't seen from Bianca since the NXT days. So that, of course, being said, I like Bianca to go over in this one. I think you picked Asuka because she was the best available option to go up against her in a match of this caliber. You're defending a major championship with, again, two very high-level, international-level stars, and I think potentially putting them out there for a WrestleMania rematch is the right way to go. But I do feel like Bianca has had such a dominant run that her loss is going to inevitably happen by somebody being able to take advantage of a situation.
Yeah.
I think Asuka could be the reason for her downfall, but she's not going to be the one to take the gold. I like Bianca retaining here.
Bianca.
Cool. All right, let's reset that clock again. Let's see if I can figure this out. Hey, I'm not doing too shabby. I think. You know, it's all the pieces are coming together. If I can just remember which match was next. There we go. Oh, there is no title for this one. So that goes ahead and lines us up to what is now the first of our triple main event. I don't like it. Either way, there's one main event. It's whoever's last, okay? But, so I think the last three matches, you can put them in any order you like.
Yeah.
You know, and any of them are possible. Honestly, I think one of them is going to probably open the show. So I went with this one first, only because I think that the storyline they ran with ultimately has led this one to be the weakest of the three. My personal opinion. Others may have different thoughts. But we're going with Cody and Brock to, be the first of the main events that we're going to talk about. And it's only because I think they're going to keep the match short due to the broken arm angle of Cody Rhodes, as well as the fact that Brock typically doesn't wrestle marathon matches in Saudi Arabia. This is going to be 10, 15 minutes maximum. But, all that aside, let's discuss just the story. And it's been well written that, Brock, of course, turns on him after he loses to Roman at Mania. And Cody, let's say what it is. He escaped. He escaped San Juan with a win. Okay? Either way, move away all you want, okay? He got himself out of the Kimura because of the fact that he managed to get a pin. Okay? Great for him, but Brock doesn't take that lightly. He doesn't take losses lightly at all. Plus, you scarred his face. Have you seen his face? Okay?
Look at his face.
So,
we do that every time he shows up on TV. Yes.
So, the reality is that's a very angry Brock. And that's sometimes worse than regular Brock. So, Cody's got his work cut out for him, and now going into it with, in storyline, a now broken arm. So you're already going in one-handed anyway. Beating Brock's tough enough with all your limbs intact. So this is going to be a tough one for Cody to find a way to get himself out of. By all means, judge.
So we just got used to the nice Brock, I feel like we just got used to the nice Brock where he's nice and he comes out, he socializes, and he still does his job, and he's frequently here all the time. And, you know, you have to understand, I'm not used to that. I'm used to him being a part-timer and coming and going when he wants. But he's been very entertaining all the way up until him and Cody decided they were going to have their differences, which means I feel like this is a fun story, but you have to understand, I've been Team Cody for as long as I can remember, since he started wrestling, since I started watching, and, you know, so forth and so on. I really wasn't a big fan of Brock's until probably a few years ago when he started becoming consistent. He was always here and he was always doing what needed to be done. There were no questions, ifs, ands, or buts. But, yeah, when it comes to that, I guess, for me, I'm kind of in my feelings. I'm not salty for Roman's win because Roman did his job. I'm more salty for the fact that Cody did lose, but it was by way of solo, which I wasn't too thrilled with that. And then Cody thinks he has like a united front with Brock, who we don't find out at the time, and then he turns on him. I feel like that whole storyline has kind of played out very nicely, honestly.
All I'm going to say is this man has survived a lot. Torn pec, getting beat, getting victories over some people. You know, I've enjoyed watching his run since I've started watching, you know. I'm not a huge fan of that pyro still.
Knew it was coming,
but we don't mind our business. Actually, no.
We're not going to mind our business.
Actually, I decided. I changed my mind because he added that last boom when I said something. So it was like...
She actively complained on this show about
stress.
Cody stressing her out. She's not a fan of, you know, a lot of loud pyro, earplugs, everything. She actively complained, and then damn if the next night we went to a show
add another one.
And he added the little punch Batista pop. And it's like, that was done for you.
I felt like
you caused that.
I felt like he was watching from somewhere wherever
he was. Bet, watch this. Hold my beer.
Boom. There you go, Alyssa, just for you.
Just for you. But yeah, no. I mean, I have enjoyed watching, and I've really grown respect for how he has never, backed down from the fight. When he was still hurt and not cleared, and Brock was sitting there coming at him, he was like, look, bro, I'll get in here. Arm sitting over here, ice on it and all. And I respect that. Now, I always like to say there's a time to be for real. And I think now is the time to be for real.
It was not now.
The time to be for real is now. Your arm is broken, baby. At some point, I get it. This was okay, it came off the bone. This bone is, gone. Yeah. Gone. At some point, we got to.
At some point, punt.
Exactly. I'm punting. I punted.
It's okay to punt sometimes.
I punted at Hell in the Cell. What do you mean? But that's just me.
But that's also the heart of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
it's exactly what has gotten people behind him in terms of everything. Despite the fact that he was gone for months, it was his heart that ultimately has gotten the WWE Universe behind him. Like him, don't like him, whatever. The fact is, you have to respect the man for being willing to go out there, despite being injured, and it doesn't sound like Saudi Arabia is going to stop him either.
No, I feel like he's got this aggression that he needs to get out, and in fact now this storyline with him and Brock has brought out that aggression and has brought out that frustration, has brought out all that. I felt like all those demons he's been hiding in his closet. He's been great in his personality and everything else, talking to fans, but I feel like Brock is the person that literally is, oh, you've got skeletons in your closet. Let's handle that. Let's get you aggressive and angry and mad. Let's see what you can do then. I feel like that is what's happening right now.
So we officially move on to the picks. Of course, Cody took the opener, if you want to call it that. So this is now their rematch. It's still a scheduled one-on-one match. Nothing special about it. Alyssa, you're up first on this one.
I'm going to have to go. It's the head and brain one. I'm going to have to go on brain here. I'm going Brock.
Head and brain.
Yeah, this is a heart and brain.
There we go. I was going to say 2 different organs here.
Head and heart
okay,
pick.
Okay.
I got the... I'm going to have to go, broken arm. What are you going to do? Hit him over the head with your cast?
Cast.
Maybe.
He can go wear no cast.
Maybe. Let me shut up before you add some more pyro.
So, officially Brock.
I'm going Brock.
And I'm behind on the scoreboard, but it's early enough. I got to go Brock here as well. First of all, they've jobbed out Brock the last 2 or 3 times he's gone to Saudi Arabia. He got the one little. He got the win over Lashley the last time they went, but it was like he had to escape in order to get that one, and he still was laid out at the end. So Lesnar hasn't looked good in this one, but I think he set this one up right where Cody can still go out, get his, American Nightmare moment, oh, look at the heart, look at the fun, look at all the strength and everything else. But it's going to be too much. He's trying to, like you said, you say the time for real is now. The time for real is maybe like 3 months from now when your arm is better. Go live to fight another day, because at this point you're putting your career on the line for a match versus just doing your rehab and getting things fixed up. I think Brock's got him where he wants him, so I'm going with the Beast.
I feel like, and we all know how much I love Cody Rhodes. We all know. Okay, I feel like Brock literally is living in his head written free. Yeah. I feel like Brock, again, got him where he wants him. And I feel like all this aggression, all this frustration, I mean, I get it. You have heart, you have passion, you have everything that you need to win a match. But I don't feel like that's going to happen for this one. You need to go ahead and, go home, get that surgery, heal up, come back, refreshed, mind, body, soul, whatever you got to do, and just, like Elsa said, let it go, baby, let it go.
So your official pick for this one
is Brock.
Is Brock? Okay.
That's my head.
I wish I could say we're going to give some people some dynamic here, but either the OTRAs may blow right by us, or we may blow right past them, way on by them, because we're not giving.
Y'all normally go faces.
That's true. Don't give away the secrets now. Okay, they hadn't won yet, so they haven't figured it out yet. So, 2 matches left. We hit the second of the 3 main events. This is, of course, the one that, we finally have the last 2 sets of title matches. But, ultimately, I think the new shiny toy is going to be the one that I think is going to bring it into the show. So, therefore, by elimination, that means our second main event of the 3 is going to be the Tag Team Championship match for both the SmackDown and Raw women's. Wow. SmackDown. Roman's got everything else.
He's coming for the women's titles next.
Coming for the women's titles now.
Said, I want to say he's going to put on a wig.
There you go, official. Rhea to the bloodline. Mommy's coming for it all.
I want to say he's going to put on the wig and be
Romana.
Exactly, Romana. But he has hair, so period.
Jesus. Either way, for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships, as Sami and Cody, or Kevin Owens, wow, I cannot talk right now. I'm just going to be quiet after I give the intro. Defending the Undisputed titles against Solo Sikoa and the Undisputed Tag Team, or WWE Universal. I still can't talk. I'm just going to hush. Either way, Roman Reigns. There you go, I'm done. That's all I got.
So can we go ahead,
this is live TV. This is what happens.
Can we go ahead and speak on how the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, your daddy, my daddy, whose daddy he wants to be, I don't care. Can we sit
Look
here?
at the smile.
Can we go ahead and acknowledge the fact that he literally disrespected his cousins, Jimmy and Jay? I mean, he literally came for their whole entire.
Lost.
He literally came for their whole entire livelihood. It was one thing that they lost at Mania, and it was one thing that they've been winning. They've been trying to call the shots, and Roman has literally put them in their place and said, "It's hard being the head of the table, tribal chief. You want to run things? Well, guess what? The way y'all are running things, we're sinking. So let me continue to have what I know is going to work. Let me have the results. Let me give you what I want. What's been getting us this far is going to push us ahead." Now the slap to Jimmy, I am going to go ahead and Roman. I hope you hear me, and I know you have a TikTok that hit 1 million. Congratulations. Yeah, disrespectful what you did to Jimmy, just slapping that man. Now, Jay, you're a good brother. You stuck up for him. You knew what was coming if he did not get
2020 flashbacks.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If he didn't fall in line. Paul Heyman, I feel like he's kind of playing sides right now. I feel like he's trying to help the Usos, but I feel like he's still trying to build the Tribal Chief and Solo.
At the end of the day, Heyman's official title is Special Counsel to the Tribal Chief.
Yeah.
Which means he works for one man and one man only, and that is Roman Reigns. And if Roman Reigns tells him to help the Usos, then he goes and helps the Usos because that is what Roman Reigns wants.
Yeah.
So Paul is doing his job. Whatever that entails is up to Roman. Now, that being said, and since I had a chance to gush over my render, we'll let Alyssa for a moment gush. Roman's first render in over 2 years where he's not holding gold. Instead, he's got the whole, hands clasping right here. Go drool on that for a couple of minutes.
I forgot she likes hands.
I'm a hand person, y'all. I am the clown. Yes, that is me. But no. Exactly. But no, it feels so weird seeing him like this. I can actually see like his whole everything attached.
I mean, we can't have women on the show and not expect a little bit of gushing. It is what it is. I'm going to get to drool over Bianca and, my 2 other babies are gone. I got to start watching Impact. New Japan. But enough about that. But, I mean, this story's been going on for nearly a year. Roman making it very clear that he threw away a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of resources on Sami Zayn to make him a part of all of this, and he truly feels like Sami is the one that came in, and whether it was because of Roman or because of, cracks in the bloodline or because Sami himself was ungrateful, depending upon which side of the fence you stand on, he feels like he blames Sami Zayn, and by contrast and by, just by being his partner, Kevin Owens, for being the reason why his bloodline right now is in trouble. And so he's saying, if the Usos can't finish the job against you, I will. I'll do it myself if I have to. And Solo, in his own way, has been almost unstoppable himself. I mean, it took 3 Cody cutters to finally take him out from their match the night before WrestleMania. Since then, Solo's been undefeated himself. This is going to be a tough climb for Sami and Kevin.
Can we go ahead and talk about the disconnect, the discord between Roman and Solo and the shoulder bump? I know we're not going to look past that, are we?
No, it was just a shoulder bump. I think at the end of the day, if it was a problem, it would have been kind of addressed. I mean, he was kind of looking at him like, do I look like the tribal clown to you? Like, he was looking at him like, all right now. But
well, this is also like, they talk about blood versus water. Well, now it's blood versus blood.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, Solo is going to be the linchpin to all of this, is the one who's going to have to ultimately pick a side, whether he sides with his brothers or whether he sides with the tribal chief, or does he just choose to go with neither and just go off on his own?
I feel like he'd be okay off on his own because he's done it for so long down in NXT. I feel like he'd be fine.
He did just fine down there as well. But now we've got to actually make picks. Of course, a lot of people, having issues with this particular one because Roman already holding 2 belts already, and now potentially could add 4 more to his resume. I mean, I'm just saying, Paul Heyman will have to work out. You have to bulk up, Paulus. That being said, it's like I want to say that, something's going to happen here, but this has disqualification written all over it. The Usos maybe slip up here. I just can't see Sami and Kevin winning cleanly. I feel like it's going to be something to where something behind the scenes is going to be what causes the end of it. That being said, though, I'd love to see them piss off the crowd and everybody else and whatnot. So I'll be the one to jump on it. I think Roman and Solo win this one. I think they win it. I think they're going to walk out with Solo holding 4 belts, similar to what Cena looked like when he was Undisputed Champion. But I don't think they hold it for long. Maybe inevitably it's like, now here's your belts. I did what you couldn't.
Yeah.
Now, and then the Usos have it, but then it's like they don't feel like they earned it.
Yeah.
They feel like it was just gift wrap. But I'm actually going to go Roman and Solo here.
I'm going to have to, this is my head and my heart speaking. I feel like,
Your heart's
I know, he has it. It's not being born at some point. I
also
feel
kind
like,
of the bloodline shirt.
I feel like, for me, I'm going to, I love Solo and I like Roman, but I'm going with Sami, because Sami, Kevin and Sami actually retaining their title. I'm interested in the fact of they're going over there. They're going to be over there in Saudi Arabia, knowing the background of
the way the governmental dynamic has changed.
Exactly. So, yeah. So for me, it's going to be Sami. Kevin and Sami, I think, will retain. I think somehow, some way, I feel like the Usos will play a role. I feel like Matt Riddle will play a role. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I feel like Kevin and Sami will win by disqualification. Maybe not on their part, though, but yeah.
I'm just going to keep it brief. The tribal chief is on one side. I don't care who's on the other. I'm going tribal chief, so I'm going to take it with the
Roman and Solo.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, there we go. We finally picked something different. Go for it. Go us. I couldn't believe you picked against Cody. That's one that threw me off. But, you know, it is what it is. You know,
now, Cody, don't hate me. I still love you. We're going to be cool. Just, yeah.
And that moves us to the last match of Night of Champions. Again, thank you guys so much for having jumped in here. I see a lot of viewership. A lot of folks have jumped in, watched, you know, even if it was just for a little bit. But, hey, every little bit helps. We're working our way up. So, you know, every little bit's appreciated. You know, promote us if you see it and everything else. But that moves us to the main event, and that is we. No, she's not, but. Either way, that moves us to the final match, and that is for the newest championship title that is going to be part of the business. Obviously, we don't have it yet. We're working on it, but it is going to be for the newly crowned World Heavyweight Championship that will be here on Monday Night Raw. And that is a picture that I'm going to try to, first of all, definitely resize there, but make that a little bit smaller, move that over here. Still smaller. There we go. Close enough. They had the tournament, you know, after Roman ultimately defended at WrestleMania. He was able to take both of his championships to Smackdown when he was drafted there. So Triple H announcing new championship needed on Monday Night Raw. And ultimately the World Heavyweight Championship was created. And tournament run on both sides. 6 people from Raw, 6 people from SmackDown, and you ended up with finally Seth freaking Rollins and AJ Styles. Styles returning recently from injury and immediately jumps into a championship match in Saudi Arabia with a world title on the line. The resumes speak for themselves. We could talk for an hour just on this one match. I think this is your top main event of the 3. Just because of just the history, but also the dream aspects of this match. They've obviously faced each other in many promotions before. I mean, Jesus, I mean, you can go in any direction on this.
My thing is, I love both men, I really do. You have to understand Seth, and this is not a shot at AJ, so don't take what I say and, like, throw it to the wind or whatever. I feel like Seth has been here. Seth has done everything he's been asked to do. No questions, minus the one incident where he walked out. But honestly, that was neither here nor there. That was his business to handle. I feel like he handled it and he came back. But he's been here. He's put people over. He's helped people. He is literally a true veteran in the locker room. We talk about veterans. Well, he's one of the many. When you look at, oh, I need help with something, you look at Orton, you look at Cena. But who's here right now? Seth. Seth puts in the time, the effort, the initiative. He looks good. He gets the fan interaction. He's literally everything you would need in a wrestler, if not more. And to go on, I mean, I get AJ's come back and he's fully recovered, and I'm glad for that. But I feel like you would be doing a disservice to Seth if, you know, you didn't want to put the title on Cody, or the title did not go on Cody because we thought it would have been a paper title at that point. Why put it on Styles? That is the question.
Well, I think Styles' resume, I think, speaks for itself. And you've got a person who is entering this match with literally no prior storyline of the last year. You know, he is here because he is championship level. He is championship material.
But
and
so was Seth.
No one's questioning Seth. You asked about AJ.
Yeah.
You know, and, I mean, again, the resume of both of these guys speak for themselves. Multiple-time world champions. Multiple-time WWE champions. You know, so I think you've got the right 2 people in this match in comparison to who you could have had. I could have argued maybe Sheamus on one side. You could have maybe, of course, said Cody on the other side. But honestly, I think they got this one right. I think you've got the top two that are going to be able to go in there and just absolutely put on a banger. We've seen the multitude of matches that Seth Rollins has been able to have, and one match that immediately comes to mind with AJ Styles is his 1 hour match with Daniel Bryan a couple of years ago, and they threw that together on 20 minutes notice. And they wrestled for over an hour, and it looked magnificent. It was arguably match of the year that year. So
it was phenomenal.
You put you put both of them in the ring at the same time, especially with these stakes, you're going to get nothing but spectacular fireworks.
Absolutely. I feel like when it comes to this one, like you said, the history, it's coming in, it's a brand new belt. It's like, who do you want to be the first one etched with that? What experience is going to come with this belt, So I'm sitting here, I'm looking, I'm like, every time I go to a live event, there are like two people who can automatically put a smile on my face. It doesn't matter how much I'm holding my ears. It doesn't matter any of that. Who gives me that happy feeling on the men's side? And it's Seth freaking Rollins. Like, who better to carry it first? Like, I don't doubt that AJ won't hold it at some point, but it's like also the year that Seth has had, he's put person over person over person over, and it's like, at what point is it his turn? This is his turn.
This you feel like is his.
This is his
payback. This is his give back for him spending almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Like taking L after L after L. We discussed it, at our show, and anybody who's ever seen a show of mine knows I'm a facts guy. Seth Rollins had the most televised losses of any wrestler in a single year in the last 10 years. And yet he still won Superstar of the Year. Like, who else can do that? Who else can be in that many marquee matches, in that many storylines, but yet take the L every single time, and you're still viewed as the best person in the business? Because I don't think it's just a matter of Seth freaking Rollins being viewed as the best wrestler in WWE. I think there are people arguing he's the best wrestler in the world, no matter what promotion. And that's arguable. Roman, Omega, Kushida, whoever, you want to put in there. But the idea is Rollins is in the discussion. I don't care who you are. So, and that's no slight against Styles with the background, the history he brings. I feel like as we get to our picks here, no matter who they put this on, Alyssa, I think you hit the nail on the head that there's a certain perspective of who's going to be the first.
Yeah.
And Rollins has been a first before. He was the first NXT champion. And he was the one that set the tone for how big of a championship that was going to be. And now it is a title that you see, folks willing to go back to NXT to try to go win that championship. And it all started with Seth Rollins, So all I'm going to say is get your popcorn, have your drink nearby, and sit back and enjoy this one. You're going to see a Match of the Year candidate. I can go ahead and put it on here, and the bell hasn't even rung yet. But I'm going to go with Rollins.
This is a head and heart. I love both these men. And as I stated when I opened up what I was thinking, my thoughts or whatever, I said Seth has been here, I don't think Seth has taken injury over this year, has he?
I don't think so.
No, he's been here, he's done what he's supposed to, he's looked good doing it. I feel like if we're going to put the title on him, it's not a slight at AJ, I feel like it will go on Seth. It will. It has to. So my pick is Seth freaking Rollins.
Like Steven said, I can't wear the shirt and pick against him, even though I totally have before. I am trifling. But no, I'm going to take Seth freaking Rollins here too. You want to put it on somebody who is going to set the tone. I'm not saying that AJ Styles can't. I'm just saying, look at NXT. Look at the history. Look at it now.
But
That's the perfect person to put it on.
But I feel like that is true. I feel like Styles even knows somewhere in the back of his mind. I feel like he even said that this kid at the time, this kid is going to be a star. He's going to he's going to get it done. And the fact that they've had matches before, like early on in different promotions, and now they're having this match. This has to be a full circle for both of these men to come back to it now, and they're much older at this point.
And to now just see just how far we've come, because this could be the last time we see this.
Yeah.
You know, I hope not. But while these two still are at the top of their game, we want to see this one more time and what stakes to put it on. So, you know, we're going Rollins across the board, but I'm not going to be mad if AJ wins.
I'm not
Let me
either.
just make it very clear. I'm not going to be mad if AJ wins.
I'll be happy either way.
Exactly. So with that, that brings it into our top rope spoilers here. Our first one on TikTok Live. I don't think I messed it up too much. You know, I'm going to get better, but we'll figure it out. Last thoughts before we go into it. One thing you want to see this weekend, maybe not necessarily related to a match or a result. Just Alyssa, one thing you want to see from this weekend.
I want to see history versus everyone. I want to see not necessarily title champions because I don't like champions, but
I do.
You know,
I have an entire show devoted to it.
Specific title changes, but I mean, I want to see high energy. I want to see these outfits that these women are going to come out in. Looking great. I'm already so excited. You know, my favorite to always see is Bianca. She keeps on finding her way out to this card every time, so I'm happy to see it.
That's what hard work does for you.
Yeah.
Kia, one thing you want to see this weekend?
I really can't think of one thing I want to see. I just want to see the whole entire PLE to see what happens and how it happens. And, I want to see, I know they usually have like a surprise person show up out of nowhere. I want to see if they are going to have a surprise at any point during this PLE. Who is that person going to be and why are they here? Why did they come back?
Always potentially setting up for maybe a match. You got to figure we're going to London after this. So,
Exactly.
you know, that international flair. You just did San Juan. You're now doing Jeddah, and then you're going to London right after this.
Love it.
You know, you're getting that little international run here for a little while. I like your one on history. So what I want to see, me personally, is I want to see the women knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is your event. They've had, you know, you've gone from, okay, women being there and being in a match to now African American women and minorities getting an opportunity to be in matches. Well, now you've got 3 card matches that could main event any show, no matter where in the world you are.
Yeah.
This is the one where I think you've got to take that big step. Whether it's Rhea, Bianca, Asuka, Trish, Becky, you know, you've lined up your card to have the best people available for this particular live event. This is the one where I think the women have to steal the show. They've got 3 cards. You have almost half the card. Go show them. Go break another ceiling. It's time to set another standard. So that's what I personally would like to see, and I hope it happens. So that's it. We're done talking. I'm sure you've heard us long enough. But, you know, thank you so much for everyone watching. If you're watching this on YouTube later, why are you not watching us on TikTok? You know, because, hey, you gotta wait an extra day to be able to see what our picks are. Again, not too late to throw in your picks on the community page. There's several hundred votes on each of those already. They don't go live until the bell rings, so it's not official until then, so you've got time to be able to do so. But we're looking forward to it. I mean, wrestling at 1 p.m. our time. So, I mean, come on. We barely had lunch, and already we're watching wrestling. We don't have to wait till the nighttime.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, you're going to be at work. You're going to end up missing the beginning of it. What do you mean Cody's going first? It is what it is. But anyway, if you liked what you saw tonight, come back and join us around, you know, the same time tomorrow. Be watching out for us as we will be doing our top rope spoilers for NXT Battleground in Lowell this upcoming Sunday. So we actually get 2 events this weekend with, you know, a little Premier League in the middle. So, you know, yay for us. But either way, thank you, you know, so much for watching. Thanks both of you for getting here. This is, like I said, a lot comfier than standing in front of a whiteboard. You know, my back ain't gonna be sore. My
We don't
knees
have to
are.
do the little ninja roll across to get across. To
Oh,
get
good
back
gracious!
over.
Y'all should see the stuff that happens behind the camera and how we're trying to get in behind it. My knees aren't going to sound like Rice Krispies when it's over, so it is what it is. But thank y'all so much. We'll see you tomorrow for Battleground and look forward to Night of Champions. So I'm Steve.
I'm Kia.
Alyssa.
Y'all have a good night.
Bye.